today's video is just going to be me for this video. Unfortunately, Mondo can't be with me to film this video. I really wanted him to, just so that way you guys could hear his input on the whole situation going on right now. But we were supposed to film it yesterday, but we never had the time to, and he works today because it's a Monday. I still want to get this video up as soon as I can for you guys, and especially because I missed my last upload day last week. This video will explain why I missed it. So I'm gonna try to make this as short as possible. I mean, there's a lot of information that's gonna have to go into this video. I'm gonna start off by saying this video is not clickbait. Yeah, so this is actually happening. When I first found out I was pregnant, Mondo wanted to have a home birth, like he mentioned it. He thought that it would be kind of a cool experience and all that stuff, and he like mentioned it, but I completely was against it. I was like, not happening, no, because I was kind of terrified to have a home birth because I didn't know anything about home birth other than you don't get any medication and you're delivering at home, like any pain medication, that is. I just was not educated on home birth, so I was like, no, not happening. It's my first baby. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm giving birth at a hospital. So the whole plan this whole time was that I was going to give birth at a hospital that was 45 minutes away, and the reasoning for that is because it's closer to Mondo's work. I originally thought we were going to be moving closer to Mondo's work, but now plans have changed and we're going to stay in our location where we're at currently, but I was still going to go ahead and drive the 45 minutes to give birth there, just because it would be faster for Mondo to get to me if he was at work, and if not, we can jump on the highway that takes us straight there, and it wouldn't be as long as a drive. The two people that I wanted with me no matter what was going to be Mondo and my mother, because I personally am very a natural person. Like, my mother is very natural, and so I grew up naturally and stuff, and like we do use medication when needed, but for the most part we tend to just use oils and other remedies and stuff. So there were a lot of things that I didn't want, and I knew my mother has more education on different medications and things like that and what's necessary and what's not. So I wanted her there with me to help me through a stressful time, to tell me like her advice on whatever medications they would be offering me and whatever they'd offer my baby after my baby was born. But I went to my 34-week appointment. Some of you may not know, in New York right now, they have a rule where for labor and delivery even, there can be no support person there with the mother. So when you're giving birth, you're basically giving birth alone. I heard about this, and I heard that some other states are thinking of doing it too for their hospital. So I was like, okay, I know there's cases, quite a few cases in the state I live in. So I decided to talk to my doctor about it. So when I went to my 34-week appointment, I just asked her, I was like, hey, I know with everything going on right now with the virus, what is your guys' rule for how many people can be with me during birth? Because I think at first it was 2 people could be in the room, just like, and then any visitors could come after, and there was no limit. I wanted to ask her if anything has changed, because I'm pretty sure things have changed with what's going on, the circumstances. And she's like, yeah, right now we're only offering one support person can come with you, and she said, but that person cannot leave because then they can't come back, and that person cannot be swapped out for anyone else. So say my mom was the one who had to bring me to the hospital, Mondo could not switch out with her and be there, so Mondo would not be able to see his daughter be born. I was just like, okay. And then she told me like they're absolutely having no visitors come after, so like Mondo's parents wouldn't be able to see and visit us. And I understand that they're doing all this to help stop the spread of the virus and everything, but then my doctor was kind of letting me know, like she was kind of preparing me that it may happen, they're talking about it, taking away that one support person. The virus keeps spreading, and she said if there's more cases by the time I give birth, they may have that rule enforced. And there's a very real chance that there could be more cases by then, because people don't listen about not going out. It just keeps spreading. As soon as I got into my car, I called my mom and I told her everything, and she was like, oh, maybe you should look into home birth. And I just kind of got really overwhelmed, and I was like, I'll just talk to you about it when I get home. I hung up the phone and I cried my whole drive home, which is 45 minutes. I cried the whole way home, and I'm not a big emotional person, but I was just terrified. All these things were going through my head, and I was just like, this is literally the worst time to be having a baby right now through all of this chaos. When I got home, I talked to my mom about it a little bit more, thought about it a lot, and I was like, you know what, let me do some more research on home birth, because it might be a good option for me. And I know it's not super common, but I also know there are still a lot of people that do home births. So ended up contacting one of my sister's friend who had a home birth, and I called her and asked her how it went. She had 2 home births, and she told me everything, and she really highly recommended it. She's had 1 birth in a hospital and 2 at home, and she said how she prefers the ones at home, and she gave me a contact information for a midwife in our area. I did some more research online. I watched some YouTube videos of people talking about their experience with home birth, talked to Mondo about it and everything, and he was just kind of like, do what makes you feel more comfortable. But he was for the home birth personally, but he was just allowing me to make that decision for myself because I'm the one who's having the baby. So I did, you know what, I'm gonna contact this midwife, ask her some questions I have. I wrote down a huge list of questions, and I googled what are questions to ask a midwife when having a home birth, and I stole a bunch of questions from Google. And so I called her and I asked her all these questions, and she's a really nice Christian lady, and she answered all my questions for me and then said she would be willing to meet with me and my husband and talk about this further. We met with her on Saturday. She answered all our questions that we had again, and he had some questions for her too that he wanted to ask her, so he asked her some questions and she answered all of them. And we just, after we left, we felt so much like confidence and peace over it, and it actually made me excited to give birth. Whereas lately I've been like, I don't want to give birth right now because it's such a scary time. At home, I just get a labor here. It's gonna be like, I don't have to stress about getting somewhere and all that, because that is so much more stress I feel like on me, and it was something I've been stressing about from the beginning, especially giving birth 45 minutes away. We are having a home birth. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions for us, you can leave them in the comments, and I will see you in our next video.